And welcome back to the Florida Powerboat Club channel. Stu Jones here, along with producer Ryan McCoy in the Pompano Beach studio, and we are rolling right along here with our 2021 season. We've got through January and February, and now it is March, and we are returning to that beautiful place that we all love, Key West, with the Spring Key West Poker Run, and not to be confused with its big brother, the November Key West Poker Run. This Spring Key West Run is a much smaller event with an entirely different agenda, and you're going to find out why right here in this episode. So before we get started, let's thank our 2021 series sponsors. Florida Powerboat Club's 2021 series sponsors include Blackwater Boats and their sister company, Deep Impact Boats, along with their exclusive worldwide dealer, Plantation Boat Mart. Midnight Express Powerboats, Mercury Racing Wide Open, Mystic Powerboats, Myco Custom Trailers, Nortec High Performance Boats, Performance Boat Center, and our official prize sponsor, Superior Communications, providing us with Garmin and Icon products as prizes for our poker run events. And we have got a roster of about 35 teams as we kick things off here from the docks at Holliver Marine Center. That is our lovely Kendall on the right, handing off our poker cards. And our first team is out of control. That's Michael Tandoy from Rochester, New York area, where he pays for a living. And all I can say is that must be an awful lot of asphalt to pay for this expensive boating lifestyle. And it's another skater kicking things off here, Bo and Tiffany Renfro from the Georgia area in their Skater 368. It's powered by Mercury Racing 700s. Avid boaters with the club have been doing events since they bought this boat new about 5 years earlier. Well, that's 3 cats in a row now, but this one is from a different builder. This is a Statement 36. Brian and Sandra Hoare from Vermont. X-Racer 2.0. Powered by Mercury Racing 450s, which, unlike those Mercury Racing 700s in Bo's boat, these engines can be seen but rarely heard because they're among the quietest motors we've ever seen within the performance boating world. And let's welcome Richard Hartz for his very first poker run with the club. He's got his son Brandon and son's friend Phil along for the ride on their brand new 2021 Fountain 38 SC, and this is a sporty new model from Fountain. Pay attention, guys. Look at the double row seating and the colorful paint splashes. Quad Mercury Racing 400Rs. Guys, this is basically a tournament edition on steroids, ideal for poker runs. And from the Nortec camp, and there's going to be a lot of them on this event, Bill Yates, his first run with the club in quite some time. He's attended runs with other members in the club, but is enjoying his new Nortec 390. It's powered by Triple Mercury Racing 450. Did you see that little squirt from the bow thruster? This boat is completely loaded, this 390. Double row seating, the full-size T-top, simple but pleasant colors. But don't get used to this boat because he's got a new 450 Nortec coming soon. And this couple is a long way from home. Frank and Grazia Bolte in their MTI 44. It's powered by Mercury Racing 1100s. Grazia is going to make her way up to the bow. Not her first rodeo. She's done this before, and she's having a blast. And riding along with the Boltes today, our good friend Sean Evans, who takes care of this beautiful MTI. And it's always good to give the guy behind the scenes a little credit because this MTI always looks brand new and it runs great. And another boat that's always looking and running great, this is Bran and Jamie Daniels in their 32-foot skater. It's a 1996 model, and the reason it's always running great, well, that's because Bran himself takes care of all of the maintenance. And we want to thank Jamie for her beautiful red bikini today, looking sharp. Hey, Jamie. And what a great couple. They've done 3 for 3 now. Key West, the winter poker run, the marathon, and now heading back to Key West again with the club. George Ariano from the Ocala area has 2 boats registered from his fleet of many. This is the first time we've laid eyes on this super boat, piloted by our good friend Ramon Vera. We can't see the power, but I believe it's a single Mercury Racing 565. And nice to see John Stella and his crew back from New York. They have done several poker runs, but this time with their new Nortec. It's a 390 sport model, triple 400s. Love the burgundy color, and I remember this boat quite well. It was the Nortec's factory showboat at the Miami show a year earlier. I remember that Terry Sobo brought it on the Miami Boat Show Poker Run. And it's great to see this couple back, Mike and Sarah Howe with their MTI 390X, and they have been enjoying this boat and producing a lot of their own videos. If nobody's seen them yet, it's called How to Live, and they have got some exciting content, putting you right in the cockpit, showing their viewers how they enjoy the powerboating lifestyle. And catching up with George Ariano, now Team 151 Express, his second boat registered for the run. This 35-foot DCP is powered by 1100 1350s, dual Cal Mercury racing motors, and he says one thing, it is insanely fast. And he's right on every count because I got a chance to drive this boat when we got to Key West. Now we're catching up with the Erickson family from Erickson Marine in Sarasota. They are Nortec dealers and showing off their latest demo, this Nortec 390 Sport. Just delivered, actually, a brand spanking new boat. I think this is the first poker run. Love the paint and graphics. Son Chris, his wife Kimberly, and mom along for the ride. Looks like it's going to be a fun weekend for the Erickson clan. And it's a second time in a row for Robert and Chrissy Lockyer in their brand new Mystic 4400 Cat. It's powered by Mercury Racing 1100s. They did a shakedown run on the Miami Boat Show poker run about a month earlier, so it's 2 in a row for the Lockyers. And let's welcome Mike Pizzolante and his crew to the poker run circuit now in their new Mystic 4200 Team Wasabi. They just acquired the boat recently. If it looks familiar, well, of course it came from another member. They bought the boat directly from the factory, where John Kosker and his crew were able to upgrade the boat with a few special features for them. It's great to keep this Mystic 42 in the club. And here's a club member who's a long way from home. Brian Hutchins from California brought his buddy Corey along for the ride. This is a 42-foot MTI that was completely refit in 2018. It's got Mercury Racing 1100s. Brian says that he purchased this boat while he's waiting for his center console to be built. I wonder what he's building. It's been 3 years since we've seen Brian. He said he came back here to defend his title. The last event he attended was the Miami Boat Show run, and he won that poker run in 2018. And David Long isn't far from home, just Delray Beach, which is about an hour to the north, and he is attending in his Nortec 450 Sport. It's powered by Quad Mercury Racing 400s. And I love this close-up segment because look down, you can really see how incredible this boat is. Captain Aaron Abramovich at the helm. He's brought us a couple new members lately. And what an incredible boat, though. These 450s are so popular, and it's easy to see why. Now let's welcome back Bradley Gray from North Carolina. He's been on our FPC events in the past. And I've got to compliment you, Brad, on this 2003 34-foot fountain center console, completely redone and refit in 2018. Triple Mercury Racing 400Rs. What a great-looking ride. Sometimes, guys, it's cheaper to keep her. And now let's say hi to Michael Brogna, and he probably would agree with me on that whole thing about cheaper to keep her, because this Formula 353 Fast Tack called Impulse Decision, wait for it, guys, 1999 hull. Can you believe that? Mercury Racing HP 500s. Now here's a boat that was doing poker runs more than 20 years ago, but take a good look. It's in great shape. He keeps it in such great condition, all the way from Massachusetts. That's 1,600 miles one way on the trailer to be here for this March Key West run. Okay. So a big shout out to Michael and his crew, and so glad you guys were able to make your first event with FPC. And it's another Formula, but this one very different in so many ways. This is a 2014 Formula 40 SS, and I would have to say it's a Sheep and Alliance clothing because it's got Mercury Racing 700 SCs. And a pretty lady getting the first poker card. I want to welcome Johnny Renzi and his crew, who have a home in Florida but are from Quebec, Canada, and it's their first event with Florida Powerboat Club. And this is certainly the event with a lot of new blood, and we'd like to welcome Rob Bulware and his fiancée Cynthia to the club in their Sunsation 40 CCX center console. It's powered by triple Mercury 450s. And with just the two of them on board, Rob says that he could never do it without Cynthia. She's a very capable co-captain and first mate. And we're going to cheat a little and let Kendall hand off directly to these two teams. The Ranlets are here. First events for both of them. That's Chris Ranlet in the 37 Midnight, brother Kevin Ranlet in the 33-foot Formula. We're going to see more of these boats out on the waterways. And now, fast forward about 20 minutes. We're now down in Biscayne Bay, arriving at Grove Harbor Marina. This is going to be poker card checkpoint number 2. You can see the differences in our production for this event. Remember, we do not have a helicopter yet. We're going to do that later in the day, but we are riding on board the Project 1080 Cigarette and riding at the back of the pack. So what we're seeing now is all these boats are coming out of Grove Harbor Marina after having picked up their second poker card. This is a traditional stop for the Florida Powerboat Club. What's different about this one? Well, with 35 boats, it only takes about a half an hour to do all the cards. When we do the big Key West poker run in November, it can take at least twice that time. And now jumping ahead to our arrival in Key Largo. This is, of course, Gilbert's landmark stopover for the club. And you can see that a lot of the boats have already pulled in here. Plenty of docking for everybody with a 35-boat poker run. There's not going to be any issues with docking whatsoever, but normally we would like to tighten up those spaces in between the rows so we can really pack a lot of boats in here. Of course, any of the teams can get fuel if they'd like to, but we've only traveled about 60 miles so far from Hulliver Marine Center in North Miami. I think that most boats, if they're going to require fuel, it'll be further in the course. So we will typically make Marathon our chosen stopover point for refueling to get to Key West. You know, this is a great shot because, once again, we came in at the tail end of the pack, and by just shooting this video, you're able to see the wide variety of boats that are here. Obviously, all these catamarans, well, they were the first ones to get here, so they have elected to take a lot of those slips that were available. I really love the new layout here at Gilbert since they redid the docks, and this has really improved our whole docking situation for our poker runs when we come here to Gilbert's Resort. So I would urge many of you to pay attention to this next few seconds of video clips because you can see the docks have now ended, but we are continuing around to the back side of the island. And what's important to know is that if you're doing a poker run with the Florida Powerboat Club and you get to Gilbert's and the docks are just jammed up, you can just idle and hug the shoreline around to the back side of the island where there's plenty of docking, deep water, room for another 50 or 60 boats most of the time. Here's a shot from our last Miami Boat Show poker run event where we had a whole bunch of boats tied up here on the backside of Gilbert's. Just food for thought, guys, in case you join us on one of our bigger events like the Key West poker run and you're looking for additional docking. And we are going to keep things moving here in this video. It's fast and furious for this single episode showcasing the Spring Key West poker run from Miami to Key West. Once again, riding on board now with the Project 1080 Cigarette. My first mate, Jackie Jones, on board.
He's coming.
And the question from Jackie is, when is the helicopter getting here? And I'm sorry, but the answer to that is not soon enough. I think that the guys got a late start out of Marathon. The idea was for this helicopter to come and rendezvous with the group, and I just don't think they got an early enough start. I don't remember why that happened, but it's going to cost us a little bit in terms of the amount of helicopter footage we get for everybody. But this is not an exact science. I think timing and scheduling is the most critical thing. It's almost like a military operation in logistics running these events. And if we can't get the boats and the helicopter together at the right time, then we're not always going to have the best result. So today we're going to cross our fingers and hope that we are able to catch up with all of the boats. And the only downside to this program today is that we're going to be going against the grain, meaning helicopter's going to be heading north to catch up with a pack of boats that are heading south. So we're going to be working against that flow. And with the high speeds of these boats now, especially those cats that are all the front runners, it's tough to make a turn and chase down a boat that's going 115, 120 miles per hour when that is the maximum speed of this airship. So something for us to contend with. And of course, that really funky 360 GoPro camera that we're using, it is mounted to what we call the stinger on the tail section of this R44. And it gives us the opportunity to get these super wide angles and, of course, play around and do goofy things that make us think that we're having problems with our vision. But I can assure you, your vision is just fine, guys. It's just this new modern technology that they have in these cameras is really super cool. And it looks like we're picking up our first boat as we cross over. That was Johnny O and his 48-foot MTI. And here now it looks like Frank Bolte in his 44 MTI. But look at the speed these boats are going. They're running about 120, 130 miles per hour. There's absolutely no way that this R44 is going to be able to turn and burn and catch up with them. So that is the issue that we're contending with here today, and it's going to create some challenges. And the only way we're going to get a lot of boats is if we sit here and hover and just hope that we get the boats as they fly by. And so we're going to be doing a lot of that today, a much different production value than we would normally have, but we're doing the best we can. And now it looks like we're picking up the rest of the boats here, probably Brad Gray, if I'm not mistaken. Now it looks like it in the 34-foot fountain. This was a bull legs cut. and this seemed like the appropriate location to just kind of hover and wait for the boats to come by. There goes Brian Tapasic in his 37-foot outer limit stiletto. And from this vantage point, hard to tell, but I think that is J.R. Adden in his 36-foot Doug Wright cat. He's pretty close to home, actually. We're right near Isla Morada, and that's where he lives. And it looks like we're back now as far as Blackwater Sound. That was Matt Borsina, followed by Tim Gallagher, both of them running in their 36 Wright Performance cats. And you can see we've got some great conditions today as we now catch up with Mike Pizzolanti and his crew in this 42-foot Mystic. It's their first poker run after just purchasing the boat. And now moving into some open water as we start catching up here with Richard Hartz, who's on the run with his son Brandon and his friend Phil. They are having a great time. Their first poker run on this brand new Fountain center console. They call it the Fountain 38SC, and what makes it different than the tournament fishing boat, this is more of a poker run friendly model. Certainly has a lot of power. Quad Mercury Racing 400Rs. Looking closely, you can see the double roll boasters. It just has a lot of gingerbread and a lot of nice features, not to mention that spectacular paint. We just might have an award for this boat towards the end of the show. I'm not going to tell you now. You'll have to wait and see. I want you to pay attention to this next shot. It's so easy to get off course, especially around the entrance to Tavernier Creek. A lot of people read the markers wrong like these guys did, so it's very important to pay close attention to your GPS and try to follow somebody that knows where they're going. And some more high-speed front runners. You know, when you see these cats coming at you, there's no chance of ever catching them. That was Bubba and Brittany in their 36-foot skater, Mrs. War Party. And that's Jackie and I in the Project 1080, about to be passed by a skater and an MTI. And we're going to spend some time now with Michael Tandoy in this 40-foot skater team, Out of Control. He's been having a lot of fun with this boat. He rigged it with Mercury Racing 860s. These are incredible motors. I love the sound, so let's listen in. And a different perspective from our wide-angle camera, the GoPro, inside the helicopter, and that is giving us that magical rooster tail shot. So Michael Tandoy wins the best rooster tail for the Spring Key West Poker Run. I'm really starting to love the sound of these Mercury Racing 860s. We don't have a lot of them in the club. Michael has told me that he's upgrading to Mercury Racing 1100s, and this may be the last time we listen into these incredible sounding 860s. I think they're going to the owner of a Motion Cat, so we'll have to pay attention to see when that boat gets back out on the waters. And we've got an MTI firing up here. This is Brian Hutchins all the way from California, 42-foot MTI, and I think he did the right thing. He got ahead of the pack and realized, you know, I'm probably not going to get any helicopter time if I keep running out front here. So he came off plane and did a couple circles, milling around until the helicopter caught up, and this is where he's going to get his magic moment. A full minute of footage. Well played by Brian, our member, all the way from California. 3,000 miles one way to attend. And this is a complete refit of an older 42-foot MTI. 2018, they did the refit and repower with Mercury Racing 1100s. And reading from Brian's video bio, first of all, he's joined by his buddy Corey. And what is his favorite thing about powerboating? Well, meeting great people and being on the water. Well, Brian's been absent from the club for a few years, and when asked why he decided to come back, he said that he came back so he could defend his title from 3 years ago when he won the Miami Boat Show Poker Run. Well, he's certainly not the farthest traveled because Frank and Gracia Bulti came from France, but at 3,000 miles one way, he certainly should win the farthest trailered award on the run. And I'm going to label this shot cat play as both Brian and Michael Tandoy get together and run across these beautiful bay waters. Just look at these amazing conditions today. This is what you come here for, guys. These are the kind of conditions that make running from Miami to Key West just so enjoyable, and being out here on these backwaters. And certainly the color of the water, just amazing. And you know, the photos and the video that we get from these events are just spectacular. And continuing our cat play segment, now we're joining Matt Borsina in his Wright Performance cat, 36-footer, Twin Mercury Racing, 450s, and it's his second Wright Performance cat, which he purchased from Performance Boat Center. And the only thing different about Matt Borsina and his 36 Wright Performance, when you compare it to those other two cats we just saw, he's getting about 2 miles to the gallon in this Wright Performance cat with these Mercury outboards, and that is by far one of the main reasons that there is so much popularity with these outboard cats. And now catching up with Mike Pizzolanti, Team Wasabi, 2016 42-foot Mystic, which he just purchased from the Mystic factory. It was a trade-in on another club member who just bought a brand new 4200. Mike is joined by his friends from San Diego, Rob and Molly, along with Kevin and Rhonda, who are from Crystal River, Florida. And I want to give a big shout out to Mike and his crew because this is their very first event with the Florida Powerboat Club. And Mike, I just want to say, sorry, bro. I mean, the same thing happened to me. You know, helicopter came down on me, the cat came by, passed me, helicopter leaves and goes and gets the cat. There's no respect in this world anymore. They just don't care about us V-bottoms going 70 miles an hour. And we've got a crew coming along. Oh, I take it back. I got what? 1, 2, 3, 3.5 seconds. That's all I got? Come on. Jeez, no love here. Looks like the helicopter's got a vantage point. Next up, looks like Bran and Jamie Daniels in their 32-foot skater. And now switching over to, looks like John Stella in his 39-foot Nortec center console. And not a bad showing for Nortec. Altogether, 4 Nortecs on this run with just 35 teams. That's a great showing. Now we're going to spend a little time with the Ericksons in this Nortec 390 Sport. They just took delivery of the boat. They are a Nortec dealer from Sarasota, Erickson Marine, and we have seen them on a lot of our poker run events. It's a family affair. Dad, Bill Erickson, who's been in the industry, well, as long as I know him. I guess I'm showing my age, but I've probably known him more than 25 years. And his wife, Missy, and she's in the travel industry as well, so we've got a lot in common. Then, of course, son Chris, who I've gotten to know quite well, and his beautiful wife, Kimberly. They're a fun bunch to hang out with, hardcore boaters. Really happy that they're able to join us on this event. And on the smaller runs, I think most of us would agree, we just get a chance to socialize a little more with our friends, and I think that this is one of the advantages of the Spring Key West Poker Run versus its big brother in November with 300 boats. And it's another first-time participant, Michael Brogna, new member to the club, traveling 1,600 miles one way from Massachusetts to join us for this Spring Key West run. This is a 1999 Formula 353 Fast Tech Mercury Racing HP 500s. Still running strong and looking great. So thanks to Michael and all his buddies for coming all this distance to join us for this spring fling to Key West. And I recognize this boat very much. It was in the club years ago. Michael Iannarino from Illinois in this 2007 42-foot Fountain Lightning. Not sure what happened to Mike. He's at idle. And here's another team that appears to maybe have a mechanical issue of some sort. This is Bo Renfro in his Skater 368. Jason Ventura in the engine room. I hope it's not serious. Now we're back with the pack, catching up with Todd and Maria Roberti from Boca Raton in their 42-foot Mystic. And I don't know about you guys, but I just love the graphics on this boat. The black sides with the red trim. And it's black where it looks good, but it's white where it needs to be white, which is in the cockpit. And I don't know how Todd got so close to the mangroves there. It looks like he's trying to do a little weed whacking. But guys, be careful when you're going through these narrow channels. You got to stay in the middle. And now we're catching up with Kevin Randlett, first time for the club, first time on an event with us in this Formula 330 CBR, which I think is really cool because this is a new generation of sport cruising boats that we're seeing from a lot of the builders, in particular Formula, with the outboard power, triple 300, so 900 horsepower out on a bracket, plenty of performance, a cruise speed of 45 to 50 miles per hour, plenty of room in the cockpit and forward seating and a cabin below. So guys, if speed is not your top priority for poker runs, this is certainly a great fit. And all about our crew, Kevin is joined by his first mate, Maureen West, and along with another couple, Christy and Scott Calista. And somewhere along the way, his brother Randy shows up for the ride. And it is truly a family affair for the Randletts, and that's because now we have Chris and Don Randlett in Team Chillin' the Most. It's a 37-foot Midnight Express. And I have always loved this color combination, gunmetal gray and red, and big power on this Midnight Express Quad Mercury Racing 400s. making it a great performer for these poker run events. And another first time for this crew, their first poker run with Florida Powerboat Club. They said that they wanted to meet some new people who love boating as much as they do. Well, I say they came to the right place. And I think this is just a great shot as everybody's on cruise control. Passing through now Grouper Creek here in the Florida Keys, the Upper Keys. They still have about another 45 miles to go to Marathon. And at these speeds, that'll be about a 1-hour ride. And just crossing over Florida Bay now, our last shot of the day. Tommy Frond in his MTI 390X. What a beautiful looking boat. Not sure why he's idling. I'm sure we'll find out a little later. So this just about wraps up our aerial coverage here as the teams weave through the Florida Keys. We're going to land the R-44 helicopter back in Marathon, and our plans are to fly another helicopter in Key West, making sure we get great coverage of all of our teams here on this Spring Key West Poker Run in March of 2021. And just a little later in the day, we have all arrived safely here at the Conch Republic Seafood Company in the heart of the Key West Historic Seaport, and a scene that we all have become very fond of. And to be docked here means you're somebody, because if you got a spot here at the Key West sponsor dock, well, that's pretty cool. And for those who chose not to raft up, the Key West Bite is just a few steps away. This is the Key West City Marina. These participant boats were tied up on the E-dock. Well, guys, I think it's happy hour right about now, and this is one of the scenes that we continue to see, and this is why we all love Key West. Next destination, Duval Street. Well, Saturday morning, I find myself here at this R-44 helicopter, and sadly, the only thing flying today is going to be this Delta airliner. Our pilot was climbing underneath the R-44, finding out that it was not going to start today. So we're going to continue our day, a beautiful one at that, by rendezvousing here at Boca Grande, here in the Mule Keys. It's about 8 miles from Key West. And we caught up with some of our club members who came from the other coast. This is Tom Wilhelm from Michigan, who came down from the Fort Myers area in his 42-foot fountain. And you're going to love these shots because it really gives you a feeling of just how cool the vibe was here at this little rendezvous in paradise. And the reason that we're able to go here is because, you know, it's only during the November Key West Poker Run and the World Superboat races that the National Refuge officers choose not to have boats visit the Key, because it is a sanctuary and they're concerned about the wildlife. So this is the one time, because it's a smaller event, that we're, you know, allowed to go here with the Florida Powerboat Club and beach the boats. And it really is a great spot in so many ways. Of course, we remind all of our participants that this is a national park and we must leave it the way it was when we arrived. So everyone's very careful to leave nothing behind except maybe a few footprints in the sand. I'm so glad that everybody was able to join us here at this little piece of paradise. And what a great day of boating we had on Saturday. I got a chance to ride back alongside the Ericksons in their 39-foot Nortec. They were the only team that had a spot over at Stock Island Yacht Club, and I was headed in that direction because that's where our fuel truck was set up at Stock Island at Murray Marine. I want to thank Lee Murray and his whole gang for letting us use this fuel location, and also to Yanko from Keys Fuel for bringing his fuel truck all the way down from Key Largo to fuel up some of our boats. Yanko and his team are able to provide 90 non-ethanol as well as 93 octane fuels, which meet the octane requirements of our Mercury racing engines. Saturday morning now, our third day here on the water as we wake up to yet another beautiful day here in Key West, and it's time to go out and play. And it is pretty quiet around the docks here this morning, so I'm not sure how many teams are going to get out. I know that Michael Tando is going for sure, because there's nothing he loves more than just getting out and hitting the throttles and just buzzing around in Key West Harbor. And that is precisely what he did. Now, at one point, we did have plans to go all the way to Dry Tortugas, and we had a permit to do so. It's about a 75-mile ride one way, but we did not continue with those plans because it was pretty windy and choppy out into the offshore waters. So we went as far as Woman Key, and here we are now on board with Chris Randlett on his Midnight Express. About 3 or 4 boats gathered here for an enjoyable raft up that lasted about 3 hours. and getting back into Key West Harbor late Saturday afternoon. Always plenty of really cool sights. This is a very, very highly sought destination for many boaters. So whether you're in a high-performance boat, a fishing boat, or this big, incredible 92-foot Viking sport fish, there's something here for everyone in Key West Harbor. Later Saturday evening, the teams gathered at the Conch Republic Seafood Company for a nice dinner to play out their poker cards and received President's Choice Awards. Congratulations to Matt Borsina for winning Best Catamaran for his 36-foot Wright Performance Cat. And winning Best Performance V-Bottom, George Ariano and Ramon Vera in the 30-foot Superboat. Kevin Randlett won Best Team Name for Team Blue the Money. Best Dressed Team went to Frank and Grazia Bulti and Team Shark Rider. Farthest Traveled Award went to Brian Hoare, who trailered all the way from Burlington, Vermont. Best Paint and Graphics went to Rob Boulware and First Mate Cynthia in their 40-foot Sensation CCX center console. The Broken Propeller Award went to Michael Tandoy and Team Out of Control, although there were at least 2 other teams that were worthy of that award. Chris and Don Ranlett won the Most Spirited Team on their Midnight Express, Chillin' the Most. It's not often we get the whole family together. That's Kevin Ranlett in the left, in the center Randy, and Chris Ranlett on the right with their crews, enjoying this festive evening. And that very coveted Sexiest Crew Award went to Brittany and Nikki on Mrs. War Party, the 36-foot skater. And third place went to J.R. Adden in Team Bag of Ice, 36-foot Doug Wright. Second place winners were Chris and Don Ranlett and Team Chillin' the Most. And our first place winner, Brian Hutchins, that's him on the left, Team My Therapist Insisted, the 42-foot MTI. And yes, indeed, after 3 years, he did return to win another poker run. And as this very special Member Appreciation Award, I think this gentleman is an inspiration to all of us. Tom Wilhelm spends most of his time in a wheelchair, but somehow he manages to enjoy the Florida powerboating lifestyle. He drove his 42-foot fountain all the way from Cape Coral, Florida, down Florida's west coast to join us here in Key West. Well, guys, I want to thank everyone who joined us on this Spring Key West poker run. It was a fantastic ride back for everybody. Here I am in the 38-foot cigarette Top Gun, just running offshore through Miami. You can see how calm it was, but it just was a fabulous 4 days of powerboating fun. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, and we can all agree that sometimes the smaller events can provide a more casual vibe, and I think that can be the best way for many of us to find and make new boating friends and create memories that will last us a lifetime. And we are continuing on with feature coverage of our 2021 Florida Powerboat Club season, and we will have feature coverage of that epic Tampa Bay poker run, which celebrated a new milestone with 75 registered teams. That's coming in just a few days, guys, so stay tuned, and you can't afford to miss another episode. The best way to stay connected to the Florida Powerboat Club is just subscribe now to this channel, and make sure you click that notification bell so you'll get all the updates every time a new episode is released. Be sure to check out the website at flpowerboat.com for all of the details about upcoming poker run events in 2021, as well as membership information. You can follow us on Facebook at Florida Powerboat Club, and you can follow us on Twitter and on these Instagram pages. Thanks to all of our viewers for your wonderful comments on our page, and you guys know who you are, and I really do appreciate that. But if you have questions or comments you want to direct to me specifically, please use my personal email at stu@flpowerboat.com. I check that daily, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. We have got a fantastic year planned for 2021 with members of the Florida Powerboat Club, so stay with us. Meanwhile, we're going to sign off for now. This is Stu Jones along with our producer Ryan McCoy in the Pompano Beach studio. Have fun out there, guys. Be safe on the waterways. Wear your life jackets when the time is right, and always respect your fellow boaters. Bye for now.